Let's get the business.
Yo, let's get the business. Yo, what's cracking lacking? What's popping with everybody? Hope everybody's feeling brilliant out there. Yo, the weather's been absolutely crazy. It's been nuts. Yo, so shout out to everybody dealing with that. I want to give a shout out to all the flood victims over at Eastern Kentucky. It's been very highlighted and it's very unfortunate what's going on over there. Yo, it's just been catastrophic flooding. People going without their homes, having to evacuate their homes. I can only imagine. So I just want to say shout out to them. Yo, let's get the business. Talk heavy. Let's talk heavy on some sports. This is my talk heavy sports media situation going on here. Of course, I'm your host with the most, aka Cashmere Brown, aka Mr. Get the Chicken. But yo, let's have fun with this. Once again, in Talk Sports, it's always a pleasure to do this. Let's start with Tom Izzo. Big Ten conference wins. He breaks the iconic record, surpassing the great Bobby Knight. Of course, y'all know who Bobby Knight is. He's known for being aggressive towards his players and tossing the chairs and whatnot. But he was a great coach also. He's very legendary. So this is an iconic situation going on here. And shout out to Tom Izzo. When I think of Tom Izzo, I think of players like Mateen Cleaves that came through Michigan State, big time point guard. They may even win a title together with Tom Izzo and Mateen Cleaves. Of course, just so many good players that came through Michigan State. So shout out to Tom Izzo for being that top-notch coach, man. He's one of a kind, definitely a professional, and he's a legend, man. You know what I mean? McClung, he won the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest. Yo, he's only 6'2", and I like that. I like when the shorter guys got the leaping ability. I get a kick out of watching that. So incredible leaper. Amazing Mr. Elevator Man, you know what I mean? He has a situation going on with Orlando Magic. He jumped over a car, a Kia K5 to be exact, and did a clean two-handed double, like a 360 type of joint that was pretty nice. So it looked fun. He made it fun again. He played for the Texas Tech Raiders and the Georgetown Hoyas in college. And then he ended up going undrafted back in 2021. So talk heavy. Mac McClung. He got some bunnies. He got bunnies, yo. He hasn't played much in the NBA, but he's tripled his earnings due to his incredible leaping ability in his recent slam dunk contest championship. So, yo, let's get the business with this. The return of Dickie V, one of my favorite voices going on in the sports media. I grew up with Dickie V. He just going nuts. And yo, his phrases and his energy he brings to the game, you can just tell he's just really passionate about basketball. And that's what I got a kick out of, him just getting so excited when people make plays and make dunks. And he got, he's like the diaper dandy. And he's like, he's like the 3D man. He could drive, draw, and dish the rock. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a punchlines that he has, and legendary signature phrases and catchy phrases, and his energetic delivery and commentary is always been on fire to me. So shout out to Dickie V. I'm glad he could bounce back from his health situation. His health issues are going on, and he's actually set to commentate the game Alabama versus Kentucky. We're going to get a little bit into college hoops in just a minute, but yeah, he's set to do that game. So that's cool. Always looking forward to those Saturdays. Dickie V in the building, and it's always a big, electrifying game going on, and he brings that energy. Yo, and breaking news, speaking of college hoops, Netflix, and what I've seen, don't hold me and don't quote me on this because I seen this on Google, and I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but Netflix allegedly is set to launch off a full docuseries based on the legendary Kentucky Wildcats basketball program. That's going to be wild. That's going to be pretty fun and pretty special to check out. And how I feel about it, it's kind of like when they did, the NWA movie or the Tupac joint. Of course it's going to be fun to check out, but at the same time, I don't want it to be corny, and I wanted them to implement, the full details of the timeline and everything that had transpired up to this point. I don't know if they'll cover everything. So, shout out to Netflix. Hopefully they can get it together. But I just felt that's pretty dope, though, that they're even considering coming out with it. And what's funny is I'm telling you, like, I'm not even lying to you. Just the other day, I was thinking, like, yo, that would be wild if they came out with Kentucky basketball, like full documentary, whether it be on Hulu or Netflix or whichever platform. But just the overall idea of them doing that, I was on it before that. But yo, let's get to business. Vanderbilt versus UK. Vanderbilt was in the building, coming in the Rupp Arena. Yo, they won the last matchup against the Kentucky Wildcats. BBN, let's get the business. Cats, they still grimacing at this point with the injuries, you know what I mean? With Lamont Butler being out, so no point guard slot. Kirk Creaser, of course, is still out, along with Jackson Robinson. Allegedly, Jackson hasn't done much with his shooting hand, which that's his injured hand. And that's rather unfortunate that those three players are still out to this day. But hopefully they're just resting up. Hopefully there's some information and some education that we don't know about it that they know. And hopefully they're just cushioning that time to fulfill that void, and hopefully a few of them can come back. But up to this point, Tega Owe came out attacking the rim versus Vandy, which that's his strength. To my opinion, he's got that bouncy and that energetic and athletic game about him, and he shoots a better percentage of a shot of him attacking and going towards the rim. Even though he can score anyway, he can get it either way, outside or in, or even mid-range. He's got the mid-range J too, if you leave him open. But I just love him attacking the rim. I feel like he's dangerous in that area. You dig me? Yeah, I do. And he went for double figures again in this one. Again, keeping that streak alive. He's got the second most double figure scoring games in UK history, next to Malik Monk, of course, as I mentioned in my last segment. Malik Monk went for 30 games in double figures. So he's at 27 up to this point, to my understanding. Kobe Bryant came out more aggressively, splashing a few triples early, getting into some rhythm as far as his jump shooting ability. And let me talk about Colin Chandler for a minute. He came out with some good minutes. He came out looking way more comfortable and poised in his game, and he has developed a tremendous amount, I would say. And he does have the ability on both ends. A shout out to Colin Chandler, but he plays very hard. He hadn't played in a few years up to this point. He comes back. He wins the dunk contest at Big Blue Madness. So that showed his leaping ability. He's got some bunnies. And I still feel BBN struggled defensively guarding the ball. But I feel when Chandler came in there with his energy off the bench, that helped out a little bit. But with all the injuries, the Cats don't get much in the half court. We're running good sets, but just those guys that just get it downhill, like Lamont Butler does. You could tell that that's missing. So we have to get it in different ways, and it's usually through ball movement. So, they still have to create. They got to space the floor. They're still swinging the ball efficiently. They got the skilled passers and shooters. Robinson was more on the wing, but like I said, Butler being that downhill driver, just driving the ball to the rack and making the defense make decisions. That you could tell that that's missing. But Travis Perry has been hitting shots. He has been hitting shots. He may get it in different ways, but yo, and also Lamar Butler, you could tell like his defensive presence is just missing out there. Like being that top key point where you putting the pressure on the ball up top. You know what I mean? It's just much needed. So hopefully the kid can get back out there soon. And Andrew Carr was out, and I feel like ever since he had injured his back, I feel like this game he looked the most healthy, considering what he's been through, medically and physically wise. He's bounced back tremendously, and he looked, I'd say, more loose than he has been in quite some time in this game. He's usually a mismatch nightmare out there. You know what I mean? For opponents, he's 6'11". He could shoot the three, so he could spread you out that way, stretch the floor. But then he can also is dangerous in the paint. You know what I mean? He's got good footwork. He positions his body correctly to where he just makes it easy for himself to get easy buckets. 5-7 feet in between. 5 to 7 foot from the basket. You know what I mean? Just easy buckets. You know what I mean? So he's been healthier. Amari Williams looked like a beast out there. I'm not going to hold you. I wouldn't argue he's definitely our best defender on ball right now, as well as rebounding. But he's starting to be actually the first one that kind of touches it and kind of gets a feel for the offensive flow. Not him being exactly a point guard, but him being able to handle the ball up top and him being able to look, people swinging and they're doing their thing, but if I can't get anybody open, if nobody can get open so I can dish it to, because he's an incredible, tremendous high-level passer, especially for his size. But, if nothing's open, he could just assert himself and take it to the rack. And that's what I seen him doing against Vanderbilt. C-A-T-S. The S may be that way, but y'all dig it. Let's get the business.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, talk heavy. But, he could turn that shoulder and, he can poke on you if he wants to. And he's got that left and right hook. Amari Williams is growing, and he's a tremendous asset to the squad. The transfer from Drexel, what a powerful and dangerous matchup he is for anybody, because he's very patient and poised with the ball. And like Mark Pope said, at first he was kind of rushing it when he got the ball. But now he's just patient and he's just going to work. He's cooking them right now. So I love the lane and I love the rhythm that he's playing in right now, and we need him to stay there. Yeah. All manure, he comes up productive, playing at a productive level of shooting. He's been mad consistent with that, and his shooting and his defensive ability. I feel like it's underrated, but he could D him up too. Vandy won that last matchup. But for Vandy, McClung's size, it bothered Kentucky some in the interior. I think Carey was pretty big in there. AJ Hogarth made a few plays. Edwards at the guard position, he's kind of shorter. He's about 5'11". He came out attacking at the point guard position. That's what he does because he's smaller, but he's athletic. And he's more athletic than Trent Noah is and Travis Perry. Not taking anything away from them because those are cool kids. But I'm just saying, as far as athletic wise, how he gets in his groove and how he gets to moving. It was hard for them boys to keep up with him a little bit, but they did an okay job. I'm not going to hold you. Vandy fighting to get into the big tournament. They need desperate quality wins. They got Ole Miss coming up, Texas A&M, Missouri left on the schedule before the conference tournament, and then they got the possible NCAA tournament berth. But it's looking like more slim chances right now. But UK at one point led at halftime. It was 41-40. Vandy actually out-rebounded and more points in the paint at halftime. Williams came out in beast mode in the second half. He was blocking shots. He was splashing them and dashing them. He was also, he was playing volleyball with some of those field goal attempts, and he chipped in with a lot, man. He's just contributing a lot to the squad. and Andrew Carr. Both their sizes create big problems in the second half because that was our go-to coming out, and that was mainly our point of emphasis and our point of focus going into the second was getting the ball down low and taking advantage of those mismatches. Chandler crossed over the lane, made a really nice slice to the rim, and then kicked it to somebody. I think it was Andrew Carr in the corner for a triple. Splashums. Splashums. Yo, that was a nice play. He made a major impact with his energy. So I want to talk about, Colin Chandler a little bit again. And I just loved his energy, man. And you could tell he's just growing. He's getting comfortable in the college game. UK also actually took care of the ball a little bit better, limiting turnovers. They got more aggressive in the paint. They kept sharing the ball to the teammates. Cats got a big win in this one. They bounced back with the victory, 82-71, the largest margin of victory against Vanderbilt since 2003. So that's talking in volumes right there. Big ups to them boys. The 27 straight home game with at least 75 points. That victory is the longest streak in program history. Let's get the business. Williams has 17, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks. He hit everything from the field, actually perfect from the field, perfect from the line, 5 for 5. Owe, he had 20 and 7 in this one with 3 assists. 8th game with over a dub scored. Brea had 12 with 3 assists, 3 triples. Shout out to Kobe Brea, the sensational splash him and dash him a shooting guard / small forward. They could start, once he gets in the rhythm, he can start knocking them down. And distance is not an issue for him. He can shoot it from the U. Yes, sir. Shoot it from the letters. Shoot it from the logo range. Yo. And shout out to Colin Chandler. He has 6 rebounds, which were gutsy, very gutsy rebounds and full of effort because those are winning plays to me. I remember a 50-50 ball that he came up with. You know, those are the effort plays, and I'm telling you, that make a difference in the game. And a fun fact here, 30 years ago, yesterday was the great Muhammad Ali. It was independence and served as the Y in the number 4 in Kentucky's 87-77 win over Florida at Rupp Arena. So yesterday, 30 years ago, Muhammad Ali was in attendance at Rupp Arena and served as the Y in Kentucky. Kentucky beat Florida 87-77. Roger Rose scored 23 points. Tony Delk added 19 on that day. And Mark Pope, one of ours, old trusty coach, he finished with 14 points, 4 blocks, and 2 steals as the Wildcats outscored the Gators 54-37 in the second half. I thought that was a pretty fun fact. Shout out to Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time to ever box. Yo, and I do like Floyd Mayweather too, though. I like Money Mayweather. I do like him, man. I'm not going to hold you. And Mayweather pretty quick too. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother conversation. But let's get to business. Mark Pope, man, makes halftime adjustments again. That's what I love about him, how he strategizes and how he analyzes everything, and then he makes the proper changes and adjustments. Taking advantage of the post was one thing, making play mismatches, embedding positive confidence in players at all times. That is Mark Pope's deal right there. That's, if you know the deal, you know the drill. You know what I mean? And he's one of Kentucky's own. He loves them boys. He's not going to tell them anything different except for what a winner's mentality, So Amari, as he stated in post-game, Pope focuses on the positivity and making proper adjustments rather than negative focus. So that's key. And that's key in the life and in general. If you keep focusing on the negative things, that's where you're going to stay at. You got to push forward, man. So shout out to everybody. Don't get discouraged out there. Don't let social media get to your head or anything. Don't let nothing stop your move and your groove. Stay strong. Yo, let's get the business. Seems like they still have chemistry to grow on and rhythm to gain on, playing with each other and dealing with injuries. I feel like that's the key factor coming down the stretch of the schedule and the season. Kentucky's got Alabama, Oklahoma, Auburn, LSU, Missouri remaining in the schedule of the conference. Then comes the conference tournament. So, what would the final outcome be? Yo, tap into the comments with me. Let's talk about this. Let's discuss this. Let's elaborate on these details. These injuries are big. Injuries are big for the Wildcats right now. Yo, and once again, shout out to all the communities this great state that's been affected by these storms and this flooding. Because what's just so wild about this is how the snow came in, then the flooding came in, then it snowed again. But yo, shout out to everybody that's been affected by this. And shout out to John Calipari, even though he's no longer coaching for the Kentucky Wildcats, still doubling back and showing his contribution. You know what I mean? Spinning the block from the people one more time and donating to the victims of the floods. And a lot of these same communities were hit with major record-breaking floods back in 2002. It actually took some of the lives from Kentucky. I believe 50 or more in that situation. And John Calipari was the coach at that moment. Yo, so if you want to donate, go to ukathletics.com/flood relief to make a donation towards those storm victims that need it so dearly and so badly. I'm sure they appreciate your contributions and efforts. Yo, we love you all. First bunch of money will go 100% towards relief, as Mark Pope said in the first, and then the rest is going straight towards the first bunch of money, 100 will go towards the funding of the 14 victims that have passed, funding towards their funerals and whatnot, and then the rest to go towards the emergency relief, to be clear. So, yo, yeah, once again, let's get to business. Arkansas and Auburn had a big showdown. This was a big fun game. Bruce Pearl in the building. Bruce Pearl, the legendary, versus John Calipari, Mr. Tyson Chicken. Let's get to business. Jay Williams was commentating on this one. That was one of my favorite college basketball players back in the day, was Jay Williams. As much as I don't like Duke University, shout out to Duke or whatever, but yeah, Jay Williams, yo, he had that sauce to his game. You know what I mean? He wasn't even that tall. He was probably about 6'1", 6'2", but he could jump really tall, really high. He got a lot of elevation underneath his jump shot when he shot the ball, and his shoulders were just very square, and he played passionately. He was quick to the goal. He could stop on the dime and just, hey, stop and pop on you. Very, very fast and very elevated like. So shout out to Jay Williams. I know that's a little bit off subject, but yo, the atmosphere was rocking and rolling in Auburn, like it always does. They rated the loudest SEC atmosphere in the conference. So, and second is Rupp Arena, to my understanding. Yo, don't quote me on that one, but I believe it is. Johnny Brooms, 15 points in 7 straight 8 games. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. But the atmosphere was rocking in Auburn. Arkansas, this was a big game for them because they're kind of one of those bubble squads right now that's trying to make it to the tournament. So, but they had trouble guarding the ball screens in this one. Arkansas usually attacks the rim, providing and creating free throw opportunities. They didn't shoot it well from the 3. Big Z, he was 0 for 5 from the 3 in the first half, and I believe Big Z is like their best 3-point shooter, to my understanding, and that's huge. I feel like DJ Wagner also played a mediocre ball game. He didn't knock down a triple early, and he did knock down a triple early in the second half, but I feel like in the first half he kind of struggled. Second half, Auburn, they jumped to a lead pretty quickly, and that's what they do. Chad Baker Mazar, he gets animated, he gets pumped up and riled up and starts going, and he starts to show his versatility in offense. And he's got a high level energy when it comes to his game. He's got a high motor. He plays at a high level. He has scoring ability, and he gives you a lot of effort. and a lot of toughness. And that defensive intensity and easy transition buckets and dunks. Johnson had a big dunk in transition. It was like he was all alone down there. He got the steal and just, it was crazy. I do Thiero always tries his best, man, and he always gives his best effort. I do shout out to him, transferring from Kentucky and following Mr. Chicken down to Arkansas, Mr. Tyson's Chicken. Yo, but he got the weight of the world on his shoulders with this one because I feel like he was giving it his best shot offensively with Boogie Flan out. And, Billy Richmond, actually, he has a lot of athletic ability. He can jump out the gym as well, but him just being, I guess, a little younger and a little bit green when it comes to the game, which, Adu Thiero has the ability. It's just, I feel like he's forced to take so much shots, especially when Big Z isn't playing good. But the freshman who went from UK to Arkansas, along with Calipari, Carter Knox, and also when Adu Thiero's out there going hard, he has more pressure on him because Boogie Flan is out with an injury, which is their top premier player and point guard. And so like you said, you got I got Knox in there, you got Billy Richmond, you got Adu Thiero. John L. Davis makes a tremendous impact too. It just depends on how he's playing that day. But he gets in different ways. He's a good passer. He gets in transition defensively, and he can score in streaks. And he made it a 2-point game with 5 minutes to go with a big steal and a breakaway slam. Then they took the lead with a quick first step drive to the bucket. Auburn did. Broom bounced back with and made it 61-58 with a putback garbage bucket, which he gets busy like that. That's what he does. And big story of the game, Big Z. This is my opinion. Big Z, step your game up in this one, man. You know what I mean? You're 7 foot. You can't go 0 for 9 for 3. You know what I mean? First off, if you 0 for 5 from 3, that should tell you that you should probably try to switch it up a little bit and get easier buckets for yourself rather than settling for shots on the perimeter if that's not what's working for you, because you're 7 foot. You know what I mean? Respectfully, this is my vision. This is my take on it because this is my platform. You feel me? So I'm gonna give you this is my opinion. Big Z, step your game up. But I feel like maybe physicality in the game bothered him a little bit. But you can't go 0 for. You can't go 0 for 9 from the 3, and then you can't go 0 for 10 or whatever from the field. You can't do it, man. Especially in a big game like this where they really need a W. Because since they didn't win this one, it pushed their chances back for a tournament berth. Their chances making the tournament is very small now. But I'm not going to put it all on Big Z. I'm just saying he's a major aspect of their team. And if they want to win, he's one of those guys that has to step it up in this one. But Coach Cal, I remember he drew up a specific play for him to get open. It was under 2 minutes to go in the second half. He got a nice look. He just couldn't knock it down. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's like that on those nights. You know what I mean? It's like the basket got a lid on it. You could throw anything over that way and it's not going in there. You know what I mean? So he just couldn't get it in and out on the rim, like from 3 from the wing. He come around the pick. He grabbed it, and the defense did a pretty good job closing in on him a little bit, but he still had that open shot. And I feel like once the defense kind of got to him, that may have, rattled him a little bit. I don't know. It may have rattled him just a tiny bit, but he could just never get in the rhythm, Big Z. So that's rather unfortunate for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Unfortunately, that was a game that the Hogs needed. But, as the season goes on, we'll see what their chances are making March Madness slot as they came up empty in this one. Let's get to business, though. BYU smashes Kansas Jayhawks 91-57. Wow. I didn't watch this one, but, I got word of the score, and I was like, I got to say something about that because, 91-57? Kansas? Yo, where you at, big homies? Where you at, Rockjaw Jayhawk? Whew. Y'all getting beat by 34 by BYU? Nothing against BYU. Shout out to them boys out there. Mm. Yo, here's another upset. Number 4, Alabama versus number 15, Missouri, which isn't as big of an upset, but Alabama averages 93.3 points per game on the road headed into this one. Yo, but it's a tough place to win in Como over in Missouri. In Missouri, they scored 110 points in this one. And Nate Oates and company in the building. Missouri is a veteran and older and physical ball team. They have Grill, a combination of Grill and Mitchell. They end up going for 56 in this one, just with them two. So those dynamic duos, yo, they was cooking them boys out there last night. And what a fun fact about Grill, he's all around athlete. Started quarterback previously. Robinson, the second, had 14 points. Perkins and Bates, they had scored in double figures. And they caused havoc on defense, making scoring very difficult with their size and strength and athletic ability, making big plays down the stretch. Stevens and Youngblood played hard for Alabama with Mark Sears at the point guard, of course, and Sears, as he does, he put the numbers up and went for 35. So shout out to Sears. He's going to be playing in the league, I'm sure. But fewer turnovers down the stretch by Bama, but Missouri was rocking and rolling. They just had all the rhythm and I feel like just all the momentum in this one and played with a tremendous amount of confidence. Coach Dennis Gates from Missouri, toward the end of the game, he grabbed the mic and was like, yo, don't be storming the court. I thought that was funny, but it showed the class and respect that this man has and the professionalism that he has. And even during a historical win for Missouri Tigers, where'd y'all come from, man? They had basically an answer for every run that Alabama made, and they're good at getting the 50-50 balls. They're very balanced, and they're very defensively strong. I love the love. I love watching the teamwork. I love watching the fun, passion the Missouri Tigers play with. They definitely play within one another. Their group first, their team first mentally, and at the end, doing the Hush trademark pose at the commentator. Yo, I loved it. I loved every bit of it, yo. I loved how passionate they were and how much fun they were having with their coach. That was cool. I always love to see that. You know what I mean? Because if you play sports, you know what comes with that. Togetherness, building brotherhood, just building that chemistry, loving and trusting one another. And I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't doubt if them boys, I'm pretty sure they spend time together off the court. I'm almost willing to bet you a bag of chicken that they do enjoy themselves off the court too, as well as on the court, because that always plays a major factor. I remember all the teams that I used to be on all the time. It really does make a difference when you hang out with each other and learn each other and learn to respect each other's stories and their backgrounds and their character. Sports is so beautiful when it comes to that. So, yo, they got 3 wins versus top 5 opponents, AP opponents. So shout out to the Missouri Tigers. Yo, there's so much to cover. I'll be chopping up more, especially with women's sports as well. Softball is coming up and taking off in a major way. Girls softball watched a brilliant matchup with Oklahoma State. They came back from a deficit and knocked off number 12, Alabama Crimson Tide. Shout out to those girls. That was a fun game to watch. That was their second dramatic walk-off win over ranked opponents within the last 3-game stretch. A walk-off 2-run single by second baseman Rosie Davis, which catapulted the Cowgirls to come back from and snatch a 4-3 victory, stamping the W at Eddie C. Moore Complex. It was 3-1 before a Taylor Edwards double home Rachel Heffott to trim the deficit to 1, with Davis's hit sealing the deal in the bottom of the 7th inning. The game was actually scoreless up until the 4th inning, until Alabama hit a 2-run RBI double, jumping up the scores, capitalizing off an OSU error. So, Audrey Vandergrift's single pushed it to 3-1 before the heroic comeback began for Oklahoma State University. Tia Warsop scored in the 5th inning thanks to a Crimson Tide error. Yo, so shout out to the Oklahoma State Cowgirls as they got that big W over number 12 Alabama Crimson Tide. Yeah, we're going to get more into this. Yo, keep locking in. Keep tuning in with me. We're going to have some more fun with this. And I'm going to have some more episodes coming up as well on my Let's Get the Business podcast / conversation platform. So be tuning into that, man. Lock and loaded. Lock in with me. Stay locked in with me. Yo, let's get the business.
Yo, let's